All right, this is Kill You Last. I'm Peter Garachi.
I'm Alex Bashira.
And from all the way in Denver, Colorado, we have Anthony Kapfer. Welcome, Anthony.
Hello. Thanks for
What's
having
up?
Hey,
me.
Anthony, we were trying to do this since, pandemic was just a dream. We had no idea the world was going to come to an end. Back when we used to just meet on McDougal Street and talk about shit.
It's like a year and a half, probably. We've been
Yeah, yeah.
talking
So,
about doing this.
I mean, before we even get into the movie, I just want to we used to run into each other always on McDougal. Alex, Anthony closed out the last show I ever did in Jersey City,
really? Oh,
and
I didn't know.
it was awesome. And then he's like, I'm leaving. He's like, I'm getting in a van right after this show and just heading west. And I never saw him again.
I was on tour for almost a year after that.
Wow.
That show was killer, and you close it out like a beast. It was amazing. Like I
Thanks,
still think
man.
about that show.
Hell
That
yeah.
And
was a
then
great show. I just remembered that I don't know where it is now, but I took the card of the woman that was filming it, and I wanted it, and I don't know what the hell happened.
that's a sore subject. My partner Gideon was handling. We went through all this hassle of videotape the show, and then the lady just flaked.
She
Ah,
just videotaped it and never gave it to you?
No, we got nothing.
Oh,
that was a good show.
I know it
man.
was. Ugh.
That was the last one?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's funny because we packed it out,
Yeah.
and then he's like, "All right, well, I want to do more people next time." I'm like, "How about we just enjoy the fact
yeah.
that the show was packed?"
But how would more people have even fit? There
I
wasn't
don't
any
know.
place for more people.
I don't know. It's just one of those things. And
It's
then
one of those things with people who don't are not familiar with comedy shows, being the owner of the venue, not realizing how successful that show
yeah.
probably was.
Well, the bar ended up closing, unfortunately. I think
Oh,
they just,
okay.
They just
Not
it was a
surprised.
great space. It was a beautiful space. It just they didn't have the foot traffic, and they basically would shut the bar when the show was over. And I was like, dude, I can't
Run the
save.
bar.
I was like, I can't save your bar with my monthly comedy show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you have to do something else.
Yeah.
But we rocked out. It was all like place was packed. It was a great show. And then
Yeah, that was really fun.
a couple months later the bar closed, so that was that. But here you are now through the miracle of modern technology, we can reconnect again.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So
Reunited.
I've been wanting to get you on for like a year and a half, so I'm excited to finally have you. So let's talk about the movie.
Yeah, let's do it. I watched it today.
Yes, same. First time.
Was it the first?
First
it was
time
your
ever?
first time?
Yeah.
Whoa.
This is one of those movies I definitely should have seen. Obviously everyone's seen it, but I'm kind of glad I waited because I don't know, about 2 years ago we started doing this 80s movie podcast, and one of the first movies I knew we were going to do was the Terminator, like the original one. And so I kind of just was like, I want to experience it when we do the episode.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'll let you bring up maybe why you brought it to us. I mean, obviously it's a great movie, but like maybe your experience with like the first time you saw it, and I want to hear Peter's as well. But just briefly, I'll say I loved it, and I was like kind of blown away by like how much I liked the actual just the story of it, because like sure some of the effects are super outdated, which I expected, and everything. But I actually was even speaking to my mom about it, and she was saying that the effects were like groundbreaking for the time, which is
Yeah.
crazy. Like the lightning and like
Yeah.
I don't know, the animatronics at the end looked real dated by the end of it. But it was the story had me, and I didn't realize how detailed and how good of a story it was. So yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
and,
ramble over.
Yeah, give us your take, Anthony.
I liked it a lot. I don't remember the last time. I don't remember the last time I saw it, but it was a long time ago. I was surprised by the effects. I didn't know if it was gonna hold up or not. I actually kind of like that. I prefer that over CGI stuff from movies today,
Yeah.
because it's like a combination of all of the techniques, right? There's like practical effects. There's some computer stuff, I guess, whatever technology they had then, and whatever else. It's all so you don't ever really know exactly what their technique is, by default, like you do it now. Now, when you see stuff like that, you're like, oh yeah, just CGI.
Right.
But But yeah, it's a movie that I grew up with. I saw as a kid. I forget why. I think I picked it because you guys already did RoboCop. I think I wanted. I think I wanted to do RoboCop.
Fair reason. Yeah.
But I think the two movies are related. Well, I mean, I think RoboCop only exists because of Terminator.
True.
Yeah. In a way, RoboCop is sort of a satire of this movie. And I was thinking about, there's a lot of the 80s, there was a lot of half man, half machine stuff going on in the 80s. Like, there was a lot of existential fear about the machines taking over.
Yeah.
Like, starting with Blade Runner, and then this, like, you know, literally like a horror movie about it. And then RoboCop is sort of the spoof and satire of what happens when that's the case.
Yeah.
It's funny you said about the effects. It's true. I think the problem I have with the newer effects now is, you know, you're just looking at a cartoon.
Right.
Yeah. It takes me out of the story.
With this movie, it's like in every shot you might be seeing a couple of different tricks at once. Like, I remember seeing like a thing where the tractor trailer that blows up at the end, like they built a model, and like you can't. I mean, in certain parts, like you're looking at a real truck, and then you're looking at a model, and then you know what I mean? But in a newer movie, you're just looking at the effect the whole time. So it kind of it takes away the magic a little bit of like the ingenuity of what these guys, and like it's funny because James Cameron, I think this is his second movie. He made some like exploitation film. He was a truck one of the most like fascinating guys in Hollywood. It's weird that he became like the Titanic and Avatar guy.
Yeah,
because he's like one of the most fascinating like real like entrepreneurs and like geniuses of like cinema. Like literally he would like think of technology and then have to go invent what had to be done in order to put it in a movie. Like he wanted the liquid metal from T2 in this movie. It just wasn't possible yet. Mm-hmm. So he just waited. He just waited like 5 years.
He wanted it in the first one.
Yeah, that was one of his original ideas. I think he wanted 2 Terminators, from the get go. I think he wanted a Terminator dog too. And the studio was like, let's just cut the dog out. Let's just leave it as one guy. But to me, like, you know, it's funny because there was a new Terminator movie this past year, which I don't like. For me, people are like, oh, what about the chronology? And does the new Terminator movie honor the old? I was like, well, there's a very simple answer to that. I just pretend that nothing exists after T2, and then I don't have to worry about anything they've done to fuck up the legacy of the movies.
I haven't seen anything after T2.
Yeah, if you just ignore all that shit, it's like nothing ever happened, and it's fine. Like, I don't want to be like, oh my god, they ruined Kyle Reese. It's like, no. In my mind, Kyle Reese is perfect. I don't need to think about your bullshit version in 2018. Like, why? You know, the Terminator that's aging in real time.
Yeah, they built a machine that's old.
Yeah,
and out of
makes no sense. Yeah,
that has that like old like former steroid body.
Right.
Yeah.
Where like the muscle is still there, but the definition is gone. So now it's just
very
like,
lumpy. Yeah.
It's just like melted. It's like a melted Play-Doh bodybuilder.
Yeah, it makes even less sense. I mean, because I was watching this and they never really touch on why the Terminator has a German accent.
Yeah, no.
So in the new ones, they're like, he's got the accent and he's old. And I don't know if they explain why, but it's like, that's too many things.
Yes.
I'm actually like,
Agreed.
I'm glad that they bring back, and again, I'm not going to go see it, but I was glad to see that they brought back Linda Hamilton for the newest one. Because the thing that gets me about this and about Alien and all that stuff, what makes these movies great is not the monster. It's the protagonist.
Yes.
So what makes this movie so cool is Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor.
Yeah, I agree.
The Terminator is only interesting because he's going after the characters that you care about.
Yeah,
and
he's only interesting when you have the supporting description of him through Kyle, basically. Like you hear his stories and you hear like what the Terminators actually are, and that makes the villain more interesting. Because I don't know, this is my first time watching it, so on the first watch through, I mean, I didn't know all that stuff. So hearing it through...
You had seen T2?
No.
Oh, you never seen T? Oh, my
Oh.
God. You got to watch T2.
I know. Now I really want to. Yeah.
Is that
yeah.
80s or is that like 91?
I think it's
I think
still
it
80s.
was 91.
Oh, it's 91. Wow, they waited that long? So they
Yeah.
waited 7 years to make T2?
Which I think is like the most baller thing, because like
Yeah.
by then it's completely out of like the consciousness of pop culture,
Right.
And so it just out of nowhere it just dropped.
Came back.
I remember like that T2. I could basically consider the end of the 80s, like 91. Like when that movie came out, like basically James Cameron said the 80s are over. Like you know what I mean? Like
And
he's
everyone
like
listened?
he's like I basically helped make the 80s, like 80s cinema, what it was, and now I've decided to like take it to a whole other level. And it's an amazing T2 is an amazing movie, but it's very like this to me. Terminator is a horror film. T2 is like kind of like a cute, like, you know, kid like has like
Oh,
a
don't
pet.
give it away.
Well, no, he basically, you know, the plot of the movie is now like
You had enough time to watch it.
I know.
Yeah,
Fair
it's-
enough. I'm a piece of shit.
It's
Go
literally, I
ahead.
literally came out. I think it came out before you were born.
Yeah, it did. A year before I was born. Yeah.
No, but it's like now, you know, Schwarzenegger is the good guy, but there's another Terminator. But the movie is really about him and the kid like bonding. It's like I have a pet robot. Like you know what I mean? Like it's like I'm
Right.
teaching my pet robot.
No
tricks.
longer a horror film for sure.
I mean, amazing action set pieces. The cinematography is incredible. The action scenes are incredible.
Right.
But the movie, that's what the movie is. This movie is like if you took a John Carpenter horror film and just like souped it up. Like that's basically how.
Yeah, I guess I haven't seen it since I was like, I don't know, maybe a teenager at the oldest. But I was surprised how much it had in common with like all the old slasher films, like
Yeah.
John Carpenter stuff, and because I didn't see that, you know, the last time I watched it, whenever that was.
Yeah, this is like to me. This is my in my like top 10, like definitely the top 10 80s movies. Like this is like a foundational movie to me, and it's just like it's pure cinema. It's just very simple story, and it's just movement. Like the music is amazing, the way it's shot is amazing. It's like one of the like great low budget films. They made it for nothing. And all the money is on screen. Like he used a bunch of like at the time it's hard to like fathom. Like Schwarzenegger was not anything at this point.
No, he had done what, Conan the Barbarian.
Conan.
Yeah, he
for
did.
Sure.
He did two Conans, and he had. I think he initially auditioned for Kyle Reese.
Oh,
That would
really?
have been weird. Yeah, and OJ
So
was
weird.
OJ was the original choice for the Terminator.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and this. I mean, I don't know if this is an urban legend, but I mean, it is an urban legend. But supposedly, somebody said no one will believe OJ is a killer.
That's so funny because at
Wait,
the time,
And you know who didn't believe it was the jury.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, because think of like his persona
He
in
was such
American
a-
culture.
yeah.
People wouldn't. They'd probably be like, "Oh, OJ, he's too nice.
He's
to
too
be
nice.
killing that sweet lady." This movie like comes out of nowhere. Like James Cameron, again, like one of the great stories. He worked for Roger Corman doing like low budget stuff, and I think he wrote the Rambo 2 script and made this movie, and he did one other. And worked on Alien,
Okay.
like all like back to back to back.
I saw similarities between Terminator and Alien as well.
Yeah. Also another one where the original was a horror movie, and then James Cameron, in both cases, turned it into
True.
a much different kind of action movie. Which
In
I
the
mean,
second.
I love them all. I'm not going to say bad about anything, but in both cases, I prefer the original.
And
both
the
those
original, in both cases, is a female protagonist, like horror movie, with like
Yeah.
advanced effects for the time.
and it's a woman that you would never choose to be the hero of the movie.
Meaning, yeah,
Sarah Connor is a 20-year-old
Sure.
diner waitress.
right. I'm thinking
And-
more Sigourney Weaver. It seems.
Well,
like
she's
a
also
badass.
like, you know, she's the one that nobody listens to on the show.
True. They do set
And
it up.
she's
that
the
way.
one who survives and everyone else
Yeah.
gets killed.
Right.
To me, Kyle Reese is my style icon. I literally look to, I mean, like paint on the pants that he stole from a homeless guy.
They
trench
fit
coat.
perfectly.
I
They do fit
somehow,
perfectly.
Alex knows this. I love the the getting the gear scenes in
Yes,
80s movies,
you
and then
actually, yeah.
Kyle
That's your
Reese
favorite
getting
thing.
his gear is one of my favorite. Like he you know, because you can't when you travel in time, you arrive naked.
You have to be naked.
We
Yeah.
learn. So he's first, first things first. And actually, too, like Schwarzenegger, both of these characters have how do I get clothes scenes.
Yes, and can we not skip over? We do. I'm pretty sure have a dick shot. We see Arnold Schwarzenegger. Is that his?
It was shadowy, but I didn't. I
think it's
look
his
closer.
penis. I think it's not a prosthetic. I think it's just Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, why would you go through the trouble of adding a prosthetic and then putting it in the shadows?
Right, exactly.
I would assume
it's
that's
really
valid.
his penis. I paused it and analyzed. So.
I
positive.
didn't pause it. I figured it's just shadowy and
Oh, it's there.
you see it. You see the
full
penis?
frontal. Yeah.
Huh.
I
very
wonder if
beginning
it's
of the
just
movie.
that, like, because of HD, you're like, I don't
You're able to
know
see
that
it.
original audiences were able to see it, and now
Was this like a PG? Did they even have that PG-13R type thing back then?
it was invented right around this time. I'm pretty sure this was an R.
I
This
thought
would've
Back
been-
to the Future was the first movie that used PG-13.
That would make sense.
Which
It
would
was
have been
that, or
85.
or Gremlins. It was one of those.
Gremlins.
movies. It was
Gremlins I've heard, actually.
84-ish.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like this would have been
I
considered
think
like a straight R.
Gremlins caused it, and then Back to the Future might have been the first movie that they used it on. But Gremlins, people complained about like
Oh,
their kids
okay.
getting scared of the Gremlins and shit, like 5-year-olds and stuff. So, yeah.
Meanwhile, none of the kids were scared of Naked Arnold.
No, who's scared of that? Come on.
Mommy, I want to go see that movie again.
So this is peak Arnold too. What?
Yeah.
84?
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's already like almost 40 years old. He's another
Really?
one. Yeah, dude, he's been
Holy
around.
In Terminator?
I think he's like 37.
I'm looking it
38
up.
years old. Yeah.
I got
It
you.
can't be. It can't be. I guess. Well, when was he?
Yeah, because by
Mr.
80, I
Universe?
believe he was born in
dude.
47.
He's right. Article is wow. Peter, you're amazing.
He was
born-
37.
He was born in 1947. He's 73 years old right now.
Yeah.
So Arnold was fucking, 47, 84. He was 38, 39, 38. No,
He was
Yeah.
38.
37. Yeah.
37, probably going on 30.
I
Yeah, because
just-
he was like Mr. Universe in the 70s, and he did a couple of movies. He's in one of my favorite movies called The Long Goodbye. It's like a real like 70s kind of like drugged out like California like mystery. Elliot Gould is amazing, and Schwarzenegger is literally just like one of the heavies in one of the scenes, and for no reason he takes his clothes off,
Yeah,
just to
well-
show his muscle. Like he has no lines.
That's great.
He just like wants to show, and he had been like around, and then he does Conan. I mean, the first Conan I think is 82, and this is 2 years later. So when he really like peaks, he's already 40 years old.
That's nuts.
Predator comes out, he's 40, so like right around 38, 40 is when he like really peaks. But he had like already had a whole career before
Yeah,
he really broke
as a
into movies.
bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And I think that's like one of my favorite things about Schwarzenegger is like the cockiness is earned.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's not pretending, he's not acting being a big shot and a tough guy. Like, I mean, he's a dick in like the best possible way. Like, but he earned it. You know what I mean? He's like, I'm gonna come to America. I'm gonna be like Mr. Universe, and then I'm gonna be a movie star. And
Crazy. So
It's
then
cr-
in
what a-
for T2, he was like 45.
I guess.
it would have been
91, 47.
Yeah,
He's like
yeah.
44 or 45. Yeah. Unreal.
still looks great.
Man, I got to do some push-ups after this.
Right.
Yeah, no kidding, dude. I'm 41 and I'm done. I'm never exercising again.
I'm done.
I look at exercise videos on YouTube. I'm like, if only I was younger. If I had seen this 10 years ago, there was still hope. I've just decided it's too late.
Something tells me you wouldn't have done them then.
Yeah, you're right. Well, that's why. I mean, I think about the last 10 years when I really could have.
Right. Yeah, what were
No,
what
but
have you been doing?
but even Stallone, I think him and Stallone are right around the same age.
Stallone's ridiculous.
So
dude.
Stallone in like Rocky 4 is like 38 years old, something like that.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, you think about it, Stallone is like over the hill in the first Rocky. That's basically the premise of the movie. Is
The movie,
like,
yeah. He's an aging boxer.
He's finally getting a shot, and he's already over the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was 4 movies ago from 1985.
Yeah.
But this is like one of my all-time favorites. And Kyle Reese is like my perfect like action protagonist. He's a regular guy. He just has to use his wits. Like you totally believe that he's this guy who's just
Yes.
like he's a soldier. He knows how to do this stuff all his own, but you're scared for him. Like if Schwarzenegger was Kyle Reese, you wouldn't be afraid for him. You know what I mean? Like
No, because he's in shape, but there's no competition.
he's wiry.
Exactly.
He's
Yeah.
got like that. He's got like that rat, like wild animal, like whatever it'll take to survive kind of thing about him. Michael Biehn is like. I always wish he was like had a bigger career, but he's everything.
Did he do
he's
anything
in.
after? I don't.
He
remember
did.
seeing him.
He did The Abyss, which is also James Cameron, and he did Aliens. He's one of the soldiers in Aliens.
Oh, he's in Aliens.
And famously, he was the Ringo Kid in Tombstone, which is a great like modern western. It's the one where Val Kilmer plays Doc Holliday. If you've never seen it, you should see. The movie's kind of a mess. It's just sort of like a hodgepodge, but like there's so many great scenes that if you just disregard the fact that the movie's kind of a mess, it's still worth checking out. And Val Kilmer gives like one of the all-time great performances as Doc Holliday. You should. Tombstone is definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen
I
it.
gotta check it out.
But he's done like Michael Bihn's done other stuff, but like he mostly like B. After this, like mostly like B kind of stuff. But he should have been. I don't know. I feel like he should have. I mean, he wasn't going to be Schwarzenegger. But that's another problem with the '80s is that like once Stallone and Schwarzenegger took over, there wasn't a lot of room for the regular looking guys.
Yeah,
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if you're an action star and you're not swole, you basically got to wait till like '93 to do a movie. Whereas I mean, like now he could basically do a Liam Neeson now and be like in a Taken as an old man, but.
Oh.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean, at that time, like, think about it. Like all those movies, in Aliens, like all you could do is be one of the guys in the ensemble. Like that's Sigourney Weaver's movie. Mm-hmm. There wasn't really that many movies that were like, all right, let's make this guy into a huge action star. Mm-hmm. So, but to me, like Kyle Reese, that's Hall of Fame right there.
Which is interesting because I've literally never heard the name Kyle Reese before today. Why is that? Yeah, why is that? Like, of course I know that.
John Connor, Sarah Connor.
John Connor, Sarah Connor, heard all that. Heard the Connors. Heard the lines that the Terminator has. Some of the iconic scenes of Arnold. Never heard one thing about this Kyle Reese guy. I didn't even know he was part of the film.
He doesn't have a catchphrase, so maybe that's part of it.
Yeah.
Well, he does. Well, no, is it his first line when he says, "Come with me if you want to live"?
Yeah, you're right. That's a pretty. Yeah, you're right.
That is, but I've never heard that. Like, I mean, that is a good catchphrase. But.
Which then Arnold says to her is the first thing he says in T2.
Oh.
That's like,
that's okay. I thought I remembered him saying it. I was like, I guess.
That's like the callback where she knows that maybe something is not what it seems.
Okay.
Yeah. No, he like this movie like. I'm all in from the very beginning, but the scene that to me that really like what makes this movie is the scene in Tech Noir where where Kyle Reese like identifies Sarah Connor, and like they basically both the Terminator and Kyle Reese find Sarah Connor in the same moment. That fucking sequence is like one of the great like movie sequence, like just the way it's shot, the way it's cut, the music.
Yeah,
like it is kind of like a horror. There's like horror elements where it almost is like the camera, like the shot gets real soft focus, and it's like a little dreamy. Like, oh no, is what's gonna happen? And then boom, just like gunshots start blazing.
Mm-hmm. People start running out the door.
Yeah, and fucking Schwarzenegger is just shooting everybody. This movie is a big advertisement for the Uzi.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great Uzi in this movie, and I feel like the Uzi, it's like much like Quicksand. The Uzi like fell out of favor. Like I really thought my whole life I was going to be dealing with quicksand and Uzis, and both of those have been taken away from me. I can't remember the last time an Uzi was in a movie.
Yeah, but, not a popular choice anymore.
I guess I don't know if they stopped making them. Like I don't know how like machine gun like popularity works. Like
I don't either. It's the first time I've ever thought about it.
It's like, does somebody have to use an Uzi in a famous way for people?
Yeah.
To like, oh yeah, the Uzi.
Yeah.
Like the way like if you see like a Ford Mustang in a movie, like Ford Mustang sales go up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know when the last time I saw an Uzi was.
So it's very '90s gun too, for sure. Like a gang movie kind of.
It was like very like drug dealer, like Miami Vice,
drive-by type shit.
Yeah. Oh, do Boys in the Hood? That's probably
Yes.
the last time.
Well, I'm sure it was used after that, but I'm just saying, like, it has fallen out of favor. It's more just like, I mean, now the most famous gun that I've seen in a movie in the last like 10 years is that No Country for Old Men silencer shotgun. That's an amazing gun.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about? He puts the silencer on the fucking shotgun,
which doesn't even make sense.
I know. That's why it's amazing. That's like one of the coolest guns in movie history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie, No Country for Old Men, owes a lot to the Terminator.
Yeah.
Because that guy he's basically a Terminator.
He's basically a Terminator. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. In fact, there's more backstory that explains the Terminator than explains Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men.
Yeah. That is frightening.
I think I saw that movie. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's another one.
You should watch that.
You have to see it.
It's fantastic.
Like one of the best movies of the last 20 years, easily.
Chilling too. When some of those scenes with.
Yeah.
Feel so bad for that store clerk.
Dude,
it's so
just
bad.
Amazingly made. Like the cinematography is incredible.
Yeah.
Like the direction,
it's like a masterpiece.
It literally it might be the best movie of the last 20 years. I would argue that it's definitely
up there.
Check out.
Yeah.
Anthony, what's Denver like?
Yeah, what are you doing out there, man?
Well, not much now.
Okay. Have you been in Denver for all of this, for all of like quarantine, or?
Yeah. I moved here in October, and I started a comedy venue that was around for a couple months, and now I'm not doing that anymore. So,
shit.
Yeah. I mean, it was it was good at first, but it's pretty laid back here. We didn't get hit as hard as New York for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's good.
You can. I mean, things are closed for the most part, but you can get food to go or walk around without feeling too unsafe. So it's it's pretty cool. It's been good.
Did you move out there to do this venue, or like?
No, I didn't know I was going to do it. I when my tour was over, so I was passing through. I spent like a week here while I was on tour in Colorado, but a couple days in Denver, and I met my girlfriend when I was on tour. So when the tour was over, I was going to move to LA, but I knew that I would still have to be on tour like half the time to be able to afford it. So I thought, I'd come here and make this my home base, and then I could spend some time in LA and come back and go to New York, spend some time there. And then when the venue opened, that seemed to make more sense because, that would be income coming in, so I wouldn't have to be on tour as much. So then the plan was that when I travel, it would matter instead of going to all these small towns where it's just money gigs. It's not because you want to be in fucking Knoxville, Tennessee, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But
fuck you, Knoxville.
Yeah,
you heard us.
Or wherever. Jackson, Tennessee is probably
sure.
better.
Yeah,
Jackson, Knoxville's probably okay. But yeah, so that was that was working for a while, and I was going to start making some trips, traveling and stuff. But it was not to be. So now
we're all doing the same, like sitting tight. I mean, things are starting to like percolate just a wee bit with like outdoor shows and like.
Yeah.
I just think everything's going to be
for now until the winter.
Everything's going to be
DIY
for a long time.
That's the thing, is the winter's coming too. Like,
yeah,
and they're already starting to mandate shit about New York that is shutting some of these outdoor shows.
Yeah, I saw some stuff like
that.
Yeah. So it's going to be rough, and a lot of comedy clubs and music venues and bars are already closing, and they're going to keep closing. So, I think that I think it's going to be up to us to make our own stuff, moving forward. So,
do you think you'll go back to running a show in Denver when this is all over?
I don't know. I mean, that place still exists, but it's the people The other guys that I started it with, they're doing it, but I didn't feel. I mean, they weren't like making people wear masks and stuff, and even though it's outside, it's like this little alleyway. It didn't feel safe because you got a big wall on one side, you got a big wall. So like, I did the first show back when it reopened, and this woman sneezed during my set.
Oh
She
shit!
was like in the front row, and it's like,
man.
you got a wall here and a wall here, and somebody sneezes.
Yeah.
It's not going to go like over the roof or whatever. It's like you might as well be indoors at that point if you got 10 feet.
Yeah.
So after that show, I was like, I'm not. I was going to just kind of take a break from it, but they just they didn't really need me anymore. So, but it was a bummer because it's it's a thing that I started. So potentially I will. I don't know. I would look into starting something else because it was pretty successful pretty quickly because there's not a lot of stuff here that is run like how New York shows are run. And I feel like I brought a little bit of the New York vibe, with that space. So I feel like I could do it again. And it's
For sure.
It was, we got within a couple weeks of the original opening, like the Denver Post wrote about us, and people just started coming like crazy. So it started out with like a Friday and Saturday show, and then by the time the pandemic hit, we were doing 6 shows a week. So it was like almost a fully it was like basically a comedy club at that point. So I guess I could do it again. It was a lot of work though. I wanted to be more focused on being an artist, because I'd spent the whole year before that headlining shows, and then to come and be like the guy that's the producer or whatever. It was, I was focusing my time in kind of in the wrong kind of way for me, for what I'm wanting to do.
Yeah. There's just a scene of comics there, or people were coming from out of town, or.
Yeah, there's a scene here, I guess. It's not like it's not like New York, but I know enough people in New York that were touring and stuff, so people would come through, and I know a couple of people in LA, and LA people were reaching out to us and stuff. So a lot of the headliners were out of town.
Gotcha.
First couple of weeks it was like me and then whoever was here, but then once word got out that it was like a good spot, we had a lot of traveling headliners, which was cool.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the thing is like, even though you're not missing that now, how many traveling headliners are even coming through now? It's
now not a lot. Yeah. It's like the same show every time I see a show around here. It's like the same 10 people. Comics.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think in New York a little. Obviously it's a much bigger scene, but it's kind of the same shit. Not most of the established people are not doing that many outdoor shows. There's a few people doing. There's like the diehard addicts like Norman.
Yeah, but they're not doing parks. They're doing like drive-ins and.
Sure, Mark clubs. Norman's doing parks. To his credit, he's a complete stand-up comedy addict. So he is doing parks and drive-ins and pretty much everything that he could get. But I would say most people that like you would have heard of or whatever, if you're not in stand-up, are not doing park shows, and I don't blame them. What the fuck? It's not the greatest thing. It's I think your act, which we haven't talked about really, but your act, like you infuse like music in there and stuff. I think you could do very well outside. But I don't know if you would disagree. Most comics, like it's a struggle to be funny outside for some reason.
Yeah, I imagine my stuff might do well at park shows. Just in the same way that when all this happened and I started doing shows on Zoom, I started doing mostly songs instead of jokes. And so I would probably do the same thing if I was doing parks,
Yeah.
which I haven't done yet, but I've been thinking about maybe it's weird to go from like having a very successful venue to being the guy that's just like in a park.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know if the scene, I don't think most people even realize I'm not doing it anymore. So it'd be like all of a sudden they're like, oh, what happened? Oh, now he's just in the park. Oh, well, that's weird.
It's like it's like a reverse career. You went from like the theater to busking.
Yeah. I busked in New York a little bit when I was in my early 20s. So that is not, I know what that's like. It's not super fun.
I always give those people money. I love people who like the balls do whenever like the mariachi guys come on the subway. Everyone's like, "Oh fuck!" I'm like, "I love these guys.
They're so
I'm like,
good." And
I'm just like making it rain like it's a strip club. I'm like so happy to see those guys.
They all dress up and stuff. They wear the same kind of stuff, and
I love that.
They come on with the upright bass and shit. It's like,
people that get mad at that, it's like, what is wrong with you?
Like, I love even like any kind of like live performance. Like, I support.
Yeah.
Even the Showtime kids.
Those guys are great. I mean, yeah.
I when they're good. Sometimes I see a lazy one. I'm like, all right, you're just doing some stuff with your hat.
That's true.
Like,
that sucks. That guy stinks. The guy that brings
that.
your hat, he puts the hat on his knee. I'm like, I could do that.
It keeps falling off. It's like, does it 5 times to get? It's not. I'm not impressed if you have to do it 5 times.
I always wondered if they had like a replica subway car to rehearse.
No, they rehearse in front of you. That's why when you see a bad one, it's because they don't know how to do it yet.
Talk about pressure, man. That's like the ultimate like going out and perform. You know,
it's like comedy.
Yeah,
it kind of is. You have to practice. Yeah, your practice is the performance. Right. Yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, talking about the Terminator, like this DIY, like James Cameron and all these guys who like were mentored by Roger Corman. These guys, they had no money. They did everything themselves. It's a lot of like just figuring shit out. You know what I mean? Like, and I love that about these movies where they just had to like like Cameron just had to like make this work somehow. And it's literally like I mean probably because people are, I love the score of this movie.
Yeah.
And a lot of this movie is made by the simplicity of this, because it's like,
it's very simple.
I was watching it and there's a lot of like standard like exploitation film elements in this, like like there's just a scene where he just like spins out the motorcycle, you know what I mean, or like it's like a lot of like basic, you could almost like steal shots from other movies and like put them together.
Oh yeah,
sure.
Car chase stuff.
Inside like the parking garage when they're doing the car chase, like a lot of that stuff is like, it's really well done, but what really sells it is the score. Like, this is one of those movies where like it's just like the propulsive like beat of the score, like you feel like the monster is coming in the same way like kind of Michael Myers in Halloween. It's like, it's really, or Jaws, too. It's like, it's the music that really sets the tone for the entire movie.
Yeah, and it's like it's more, I don't know what the word is. It's like a lot of the score is kind of odd. Like it doesn't sound like most movie scores.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I think that's why it's unsettling.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's the same way like the handful of notes for Jaws or the handful of notes for Michael Myers. Like they're again, like I don't know music well enough to like even know what this is called, but like those notes together causes you to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's not there's no soothing. There's no point in this movie where you're just like, like I feel everything's going to be just great. It's just like a constant, even for a moment when the two of them are getting to know each other, it's just, that right around the corner they're going to have to start running again. And like, to me, like that's pure cinema. It's just one thing is like a monster that can't be stopped is chasing you and you're just running. Fucking love it.
Which I guess is even similar to zombie movies.
Yeah, it's literally, and the constant upping of the stakes. It's like, all right, he's got to be dead now.
Yeah.
We just blew him up. The movie's got to be
And
over
then just
now.
the top half of him is crawling
Yeah.
towards her
Well, he
at the end.
famously, like James Cameron, had like a fever dream of us of like a robotic skeleton carrying a knife and like just like crawling out of a fire, and like that's where this entire movie. I mean,
I didn't know that.
he got sued because it was like alleged that he took this from like a plot of like a sci-fi show. But I mean, it's like what are you stealing? Like time travel like had been done before, like a monster chasing people. It's like there's nothing in this movie where you're like, oh, the invention is like in the execution and the simplicity. It wasn't like he didn't invent like Ewoks or something. You know what I mean? Where they're like,
yeah.
oh, that clearly he ripped off Bewoks from Star Wars. Like,
But what? Yeah, I can't think of another. Was there another movie that had? I'm sure there wasn't another movie that had robots from the future
No.
before this.
I think this might be the first movie that had anything from the future as a concept.
I'd have to look that up. There was like time travel had been something that people. That was another thing that people were
Time
obsessed,
travel, but always going
obsessed
back to
with.
the past.
Yeah, or like something coming to
Yeah,
the
that
present
happened.
day. I can't remember. I mean,
Not in
that,
like modern pop culture. I feel
the
like.
concept of time travel had been in like stories for
Oh, for
like,
sure.
at least 100
yeah.
years.
Oh, for
the
sure.
Time Machine, that book.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
Yeah, and I think even the Mark Twain, the Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court, isn't that a time travel? I believe that's a time travel story. It's a weird reference that no one.
I didn't
Even
know
I
that.
don't know the details of it. I just know the name. But yeah, like the cyborg thing was definitely like kind of bubbling up, and the time travel thing was like there, and it is. It's just like it's just putting all the pieces together. Like I love the cops in the police station, like Paul Winfield and Lance Henderson they're just kind of like bumbling, kind of
Yeah.
just regulars. I guess it never really says where it is. It's clearly
I was-
California, but
I was trying to figure out where it was because they keep saying like they reference like that it's a city or whatever, but they never say what it is.
I
Yeah, I
just
don't know.
assume every movie's either New York or L.A. or the woods. Do you know what I mean? Like unless they tell you like where it either looks like L.A. or it looks like New York.
But it was a combination because they had like alleyways with homeless guys and stuff. That was a very New York kind of thing in movies at the time.
Yeah. Hey man, you see a bright light? That's one of my favorite lines in the movie. Poor guy gets his pants taken.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Kyle Reese fucking. And like the funny thing is, he never bothers to get a new pair of pants.
That's
No.
what I was thinking when he goes to the mall.
Yeah, they're at a mall. I mean, come on.
He
Yeah,
gets
he's
like those Nike
Nikes,
sneakers.
which you can't find, by the way. I've been looking to actually purchase those.
Yeah, with the little thing on the.
I'm sure
on the
somebody
ankle.
has them.
No, they're like a collector's item. Like
Yeah,
they're-
so someone's selling them for a lot of
Yeah.
money, probably.
I've been googling because they're sort of like modified Air Force Ones, but they're very specific. Like if you Google,
Were they
Kyle
just for
Reese-
the movie, or were they real sneakers?
No, I think they were around then, and then Nike just discontinued them. And because of the movie, they like I think they had like at one point they planned to like bring them back or something, and then they didn't.
1984 Nike Vandals.
Vandals,
Nike
yeah.
Vandals.
It looks like they still make a Vandal, but it's not it looks like an Air Force one, but I'm assuming this is not the authentic 1984 one. Oh, for $1,000. Here we go.
Yeah, see that's-
$1,000.
StockX. There it is. Oh shit! It looks exactly like it. Actually, is a dope looking sneaker.
I know I want it so bad.
It has
I want
the little snap thing on the ankle.
Yep, snap thing, Velcro snap type thing on the ankle, and it's like an Air Force One. It's like a matte finish, and they make it in
Yeah.
different. They make the Nike Vandal with the snap like today, 2020 version, but this specific cut is $1,000 on StockX.
I'll stick to my $100 Air Force Ones until I got 1,000 to blow on a pair of sneakers.
Yeah, but that's pretty cool, right? You
Yeah,
can find them.
And like, but I like not kidding. Like trench coat, Nike, like pants with paint splashes on them. That's pretty much my uniform like, in the wintertime. Like that's definitely I take my style cues Soldier.
That's
from the
not
future.
Summer Pete though. Summer
No,
Pete,
no,
you
summer,
got like
summer,
flowing kind of
it's
shirts
a,
and shorts.
summertime. It's a lot of floral prints.
Floral. Yeah, is that been a later in life thing, or is that like in your 20s you're wearing
Later
floral?
in life.
I mean, he's in his 40s, so
Yeah, I'm definitely transitioning.
you are, yeah.
I saw my 94-year-old grandfather the other day, and I was like, "Wow, we dress the same." It's like it's like Adidas pants with a dress shirt and a Panama hat.
That's
like
sick for a 90-year-old.
I mean, for 94,
He's well
he looks
dressed.
he looks great.
Yeah.
But everyone else, my brother-in-law asked me the other day. He goes, "That shirt looks an awful lot like something your grandfather would wear." And I go, "Yeah, it's my grandfather's shirt."
Oh, that's
He gave it
hilarious.
to me. My grandfather's actually pissed because every time I see him, he goes, "What size shoe do you wear?" And I go 11. He goes, "Son of a bitch." He goes, "I have so many pairs of size 7 shoes."
7.
Dude,
The
dude
little
is like,
man.
He's a little. We come from small people. My family.
How tall is your grandfather?
He's got to be like. I mean, he's shrunk.
He has, right? They always
Yeah,
shrink.
he's got to be like 5'4" or 5'3" at this point.
Wow. Jeez.
But he was probably like 5'7", 5'8" max.
no
he
way,
comes from,
5'8".
like-
You don't shrink 4 full inches.
He comes from like
crazy.
he comes from like the mountains. Like they were like shepherds and stuff. Like they
Tiny feet,
they
tiny
were
footed
low,
man.
very
Yeah.
stocky, low to the ground,
Very
hardy people with size 7 feet.
7. That's like a child. I feel
He's
like.
so
Ju-
he's
in
so
junior
angry.
high, I don't think I was even a
Right.
7.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He's so upset that none of his grandkids are small enough to inherit his shoes. Like it's a real problem for him.
He's got to give them to whoever daughter. I don't know.
He's gotta find an Ewok to fucking donate
Yeah.
all his shoes to.
Yeah, I don't know one of my friends with a size 7. Like the smallest I've heard of is like a 9 or an 8.5, like maybe. But
Yeah, like in 8th grade.
right, I don't know anyone that wears currently wears a 7. That's crazy.
And not too many like 13-year-olds are trying to rock grandpa's floor shine
Yeah.
wingtips.
That'd be hilarious. Bunch of kids
Again,
wearing wingtips.
do that with a pair of Adidas track pants and a button down. Who's cooler than that guy?
A lot of people.
and Schwarzenegger too. Like he has like the punk look at the beginning. He takes clothes from like some punk guys. One
Yeah.
of whom
Yeah.
is an unknown Bill Paxton,
Yeah,
who goes on to be like in every James Cameron movie.
I
after
noticed
this.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he just acquires a dope leather jacket at some point. Like they don't explain that.
That
one.
was a sweet jacket.
Yeah, yeah. I love. Yeah, the sunglasses. Like there was definitely like a promotion with gargoyle sunglasses in this movie because they made a point of like showing you the label on the sunglasses.
I
He
didn't
cuts
notice
his
that.
eyeball out. When he cuts his eyeball out.
They do a
So-
close up of the glasses.
Yeah, yeah. When the animatronic eye and like the claymation head, and then it cuts to Schwarzenegger again.
That head did look a little weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But again, like I don't mind. Like to me, the hardest thing to swallow this time was like the full skeleton.
animatronic skeleton.
Yes, that was the
That
worst.
looks really bad. But I mean, at the time, I'm sure before Blu-ray, I'm sure it passed better. And we only feel that way because we've seen what happened after it. The future of technology. I'm sure we would have loved it back then. Yeah.
I still like the way. I still wish they did effects that way.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
me too.
No, I fully agree with what you're saying about the whole CGI and just making it makes it like it just takes away from the film now.
Yeah.
With all that stuff, but there, it's something to be said. Like certain effects held up well, and that one just particularly didn't. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but also, like, I mean, thinking about it now, and I don't think this was on purpose, but there's something about the way it was like kind of lumbering and slow that makes you think of like Frankenstein or a zombie.
monster.
And it's just like it's not fast, but it just keeps coming and keeps coming.
Right.
And so like in that part of it, it's like
sure.
it sort of like registers like a Frankenstein monster or something like that, where it's just
Yeah.
this
Well, it's
slow,
humanity
lumbering
gets
thing.
stripped away. The more and more the more and more robotic he appears, the less and less human he is behaving. He's like moving, like throughout the film.
Yeah, why? I guess he doesn't talk anymore, which he should be
He
able to.
barely
still.
talks, but he doesn't talk at all when he's fully not human, which is interesting. Yeah.
It's just a robot.
I wonder if that's intentional, you know?
Well, he only
I-
really talks when he needs to.
That's true. He's only utility talking. He's like, when
Yeah.
he's chasing, he's not talking.
He doesn't feel like he needs to get in a couple of quips before he.
Yeah,
True.
that's like
kills
That's like
people.
later Schwarzenegger, like all the wise ass comments.
Yeah.
Like, this guy is just happy to be on this set. He's like, I can't. He goes, I can't believe I tricked these people. They didn't even ask me about the accent. They're just everyone's okay with the fact that I can't.
It's
speak.
unbelievable too how they left in the film that he can mimic any voice perfectly, yet the
Yeah.
voice he chooses for himself sounds like a retarded like a guy like that's absolutely got a terrible English like American accent. And that's the voice that they landed on, these futuristic robots.
That's so funny. I never thought about it. Like,
Yeah.
he could have chosen any voice.
Yeah. Cuz he's perfect. I mean, he's able to mimic the mom perfectly, you know?
Yeah.
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 So he could have literally sounded like the most generic male in the world.
He could have sounded like how RoboCop sounds.
Right.
Yeah, like a robot.
Thank you
Yeah.
for not smoking. Or
Right.
something,
Dude,
you know,
I was actually looking through my phone. I couldn't find my notes that I took while I was watching this, but I just thought of two things that like stood out. One, like Walkman Girl was really like a personality in
Oh,
the
yeah.
80s. So like
Yeah.
and also like the plot device of looking in the phone book and trying to find somebody
Yep.
from their address. Like, so we should just like quickly, because I think a lot of people haven't seen the original. Like, the Terminator comes to present day California, and he's got to kill Sarah Connor.
Yes.
That's all the information he has, is that Sarah Connor is going to give birth to John Connor, who's going to lead the revolution
Human
against the
rebellion.
machines in the future. So there's 3 Sarah Connors in the phone book, and so he fucking rips a page out of the phone book and kills every Sarah Connor. Well, he kills 2 of them, and then he tries to kill this one. And then her roommate is a girl who, for some reason, never takes her fucking headphones off.
Yeah.
Which is
even
the
when they had
most-
sex.
the
Yeah, they
most
were
annoying.
banging, yeah.
Like that. I feel like that maybe that was a thing, like where a girl who just couldn't stop listening to music. Like, what is she afraid of in the world?
There's still girls like that, I feel like. I don't know. Or people. I
Yeah,
shouldn't
like they
generalize.
using an excuse to like not like be present in the world. Mm-hmm. Like, she's got to hide from.
Her hair is just the most 80s thing of all time, too.
Yeah, which
She's teasing it in the
Yeah.
It gets her killed. It gets her killed.
It does.
If she had been listening,
It's her fault.
what was going on?
Yeah. No, honestly, though, yeah, one of the big devices is like Sarah is calling her, warning her, because at that point Sarah Connor had realized that the people dying are all named Sarah Connor. So she's calling the house, leaving a message to warn her, and the bitch is getting, getting topped off with her headphones on, not... I don't know. I think he was munching box down there. I don't know what he was doing. The guy was an idiot too, right?
Rich Rostovich, who was also in Top Gun.
Okay.
He's
Oh,
great.
yeah.
He's great as the like, hey man,
Yeah.
I'm gonna kick your ass, bro.
Yeah, he was.
I love that he tried to do it in that scene. He's like, "Don't." I forget something like, "Don't make me rough
Don't make
you
me.
up,"
Yeah,
or
exactly.
whatever he said.
Yeah.
And he's got like the lamp. It's like, how? Even if he wasn't a machine,
Right.
how is he going to win that fight?
No, yeah, that guy's a moron. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that was great. I mean, I loved all the beginning scenes. Like, they really like sure, the long action sequences were great too, and the story that develops over time, and like we talked about, is intriguing and it makes you want to watch more. But even just the setup scenes, like the very beginning, the arriving naked, the roommate, her boyfriend, and just getting to know Sarah Connor, like all that stuff is done very, very well. I think that's like a James Cameron kind of specialty.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of John Carpenter. If you watch like early John Carpenter movies,
True.
There's a lot of like set pieces. Like you're constantly like getting to the main like climax of the movie.
Right.
But, like along the way, there's just like one cool set piece after another that you don't really need. Like, you don't need the scene where he gets the guns and kills the guy at the gun shop. But that scene is
that
awesome.
adds to it. Yeah, of course.
Like, and again, it's like it's 2 guys and a counter. Like, it's really cheap. Like, when you think
it
about
also-
like the logistics of it, it's
Oh,
cheap
go
to
ahead.
do.
Yeah.
That's an easy scene to do, like,
Yeah.
on a low budget.
But it adds because it shows you, it makes it a slight bit more believable. It's like, oh, how'd this guy get all these guns? How did he convince these people? It's like, no, he has skills to talk to people. He can figure out a transaction and then use his fucking, he could just stamp over the law and kill people.
It's a little funny and a little scary.
Right.
Even with like the scenes with the cops too. Like, the cops are goofy. They're a little bit
funny. The worst in this, though. Like, they're so incapable.
The worst therapist of all fucking time.
that guy's a fucking asshole.
I love that he's yawning. They're like, are you a doctor?
Hilarious.
He's then the doctor treating Sarah Connor in T2.
What?
Really?
You would have thought he would have been in the mental institution in T2. Like, you would have thought that this would have like disqualified him forever practicing medicine or psychology ever again. But somehow he like parlayed like a huge fuck up where everybody died.
He misses it by seconds.
He does. Like, I don't. Did they show him like leaving the?
Yeah, he's leaving as the Terminator is coming in.
Oh, and again, like another like easy scene, but like Schwarzenegger walks into the police station.
Yeah.
Asks for Sarah Connor.
Right.
I'll be back, and it's just like so simple. Just a fucking two shot of two guys in a counter. It's I feel like not that James Cameron. I'm sure James Cameron has $1 billion.
Sure.
And doesn't need my help. But like the guy is a fucking master.
Oh yeah, no, there's a reason why he is so successful. I mean,
it like actually makes me want to go back and watch Titanic and Avatar and be like, maybe I didn't get it.
Titanic's good, man. I mean, it's not, whatever. It's everyone knows the story, and you could watch it with like and the ending kind of sucks. But if you watch Titanic start to finish, I mean, if you don't enjoy some of the scenes in the beginning, I mean, I don't know. I don't think you like movies. The effects of Titanic hold up. Yeah,
that's a good looking movie. And Kate Winslet, I fucking love me some Kate Winslet.
Yeah, and I love a young Leonardo. What a fucking hot boy. I mean, come on.
A hot boy.
He was very. I mean, I felt a way. I was like 5 years old when I saw Titanic.
He's no Kate Winslet. I was smitten. Let's put it that way.
No, yeah. But I mean, and they're both good. Yeah,
I haven't seen that in a long time.
It's been a while.
Guys, give Titanic a shot. That movie really deserves. That movie really
honestly,
deserves
in terms of film review, it does, because people like to shit on Titanic. Like, I guess ironically or something. Obviously, it won all those awards back then, but nobody talks about Titanic as like a great movie anymore. Yeah. They really don't.
But I never saw Avatar either.
Yeah, I did see Avatar. Didn't like Avatar that much.
Avatar is like one of those movies where it's like, oh, I'm just watching a cartoon. Like they made they just made a big deal about the effects, but I'm like, oh, this
a lot of CGI.
It could have just been a Pixar movie, and then no one would have said two words.
I really don't know why they hyped up the CGI so much. Like, I don't get, why did it take so long for him to make Avatar? Wasn't there a thing where it's like we need to take all, like, was he just building up hype because he changed camera?
I mean, he hasn't made a movie since. It's been like 17 years or something.
I remember
that was the last one.
I think Avatar. So. They talked about Avatar 2 for like years.
He's making like Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5. I think something like simultaneously.
I think
it's basically like Alien, but like less. It's like a less cool Alien.
Way less cool. Yeah. And it's all CGI. like I mean, the best part about Alien is the not CGI Alien.
Yeah, I wonder if someone like him, if you forced him to go back and be like, "Hey James, here's $1 million. Make like a simple, like great action movie." If you like forced him like in a box,
he would make a better movie.
I think he would do something. Even give him like doughy Schwarzenegger.
I think anything he can make it. No, seriously, he would be able. I think what the problem with Avatar was, like, they made it into this fucking massive budget thing, and it wasn't that good because it's like he put so much into like CGI, and I get that it was like beautiful CGI or whatever, and it was nice looking and IMAX whatever, but like it didn't stand on its own as a great movie, and it just, I don't know, man. I not memorable at all. I can't even tell you one thing that happened, really.
I just remember the chick was blue.
She was hot too, right? The hot blue girl. Chick. She was, though. I'm not even. Yeah, she was sexy. Anyway,
she wasn't no headphones on though. Now if she was wearing headphones and getting banged,
I can't believe she
But-
kept the headphones on.
And the weird headphones, they like go around the chin. You know,
I think she just was wearing them like that.
I didn't like that either. I kind of wanted to hit her in the head.
She was doing
knock 'em
this.
off.
She was like,
Yeah,
Yeah, making a sandwich in the middle of the night.
yeah. What was
Yeah.
that too? She got like all of the lettuce out of the cabbage. She had like fucking a ton of groceries that
she was
bringing back
drumming
to
with
the-
celery. I
right,
like that.
right. That was
Yeah,
fun.
It was so 80s.
It was very.
That's the most.
The music
80s.
was terrible. Whatever she
Oh,
was
yeah.
listening to,
She
I don't
died
even know
for
what
that
she-
music.
Yeah. I mean, it was a cool shot when he pops out. He's dead, and she's like still got the music on, and then she
Yeah.
sees like her boyfriend like dead. That was like a horror movie shot. That was a pretty funny shot.
There's a lot of like little things in this movie too. Like when Schwarzenegger pulls up in the station wagon and his car crushes the toy truck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like there's a lot. That's what like that's when you know you're in good hands. Is like when like those little details like early on where it's like there's like again like funny lines from like the homeless guy and the truck driver
Yep.
or like and like just goofy like little shit so that you're like, all right, this is gonna be fun, and then you're just fucking the rest of the movie is just like nonstop
Yeah.
action and chasing. But
I think I'm gonna watch T2 like tomorrow. I'm like,
You should see it.
Like
I
this
might
is one of those-
watch it too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we just saw this. We might as well. I mean, it was that good. And I'll tell you guys, like I watch a lot of '80s movies to prepare for these podcasts, and this might be the first one where I watched the second movie like right after. This was that good, and it was quick. It was like, what was it, an hour 30, hour 40?
yeah, something
I
like
think it
that.
was,
mean-
hour 40 something.
Packed a lot into like 100 minutes, you know?
And created like an all-time.
Right.
What's the word I'm looking for?
You know, legacy.
Cultural icon.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll be back. I heard when I was like 5 years, like I'll be back was such a big fucking thing.
When your mom left you in the car when she went to
I'll
school
be
for-
back. Right. Yeah. My
Alex
dad, but he
stayed here.
never came back.
It's funny
I'll
though.
be back.
He doesn't say
I
it like
promise.
yeah. Yeah.
it didn't sound like they knew it was a catchphrase. You
No,
know,
very-
it's very subtle. He's just
Yeah.
like I'll be back. But when everybody
There's no
says
music
it,
cue. There's no,
No.
like, yeah. Yeah.
when people said it after that, they always say it like it, you know, I'll be back. Like he didn't. There was no emphasis really. It was just kind of casual,
right.
and I like that.
Yeah.
I think
me
that
too.
I think Schwarzenegger from that discovered that he's funny.
That he could use his
Do
voice.
you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
if he just the way he says stuff regular
Is funny.
and I think he stumbled upon that
yeah.
because
Yeah.
for the rest of his career, he's
Oh,
just
yeah.
saying funny shit.
Kindergarten Cop was born out of that. You don't have
Yeah.
Kindergarten
That
Cop
movie-
as a movie.
It wouldn't exist without him sounding goofy. It's not
Right.
a tumor.
We
No one-
definitely should. We should do. We need to do Twins too because Twins is another one that
I haven't seen that.
Twins.
I've seen
80s.
Kindergarten Cop, but
and because it's that's great comedy, but it's also this is still peak Arnold. So
Right.
Yeah.
it was a shock that he would do a movie like Twins, and they fucking pulled it off. It's amazing. But
Bird.
Anthony, this is so good to finally have you
Yes.
on the podcast, man.
Yeah, I'm glad
Thanks for
we did
coming
it.
on. I
What
appreciate
for
do,
having me.
do you want to plug anything else? Anything else that's going on?
Sure. Let me see. I have an album. I have a cassette version of it right here.
Oh, very cool.
It's
Anthony
called-
Kapfer.
It's called Cats Using Toilets.
Yes.
It's a studio album of comedy songs. There's 17 tracks on it. That's the cassette, but it's also on all the streaming services. So whatever, Spotify, Apple Music, or whatever, it's on there. What else? I don't know. Just working on. I'm putting out new music. And
do
stuff
you put
for
out
this-
content for like on your social or anything, or do you have a podcast you do or anything like that?
Yeah, well, both. So I've been putting out content, everywhere, just new songs, new videos.
Nice.
And I haven't, we haven't launched it yet, but in the next week or two,
Oh, great.
we're going to be launching this podcast that's called Is This Anything?
Is this anything? Cool.
Which is me and a couple of, it's got Rob Ryan, Brett Druck,
Oh.
Jared Berenstein. It's us just workshopping our jokes.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Wait, so it's Eric and Eric Branstein, Rob Ryan? Are on there?
Jared Berenstein, Brett Druck, and Rob Ryan, and me.
Nice. Yeah, I know all those guys. Yeah. Hell
Yeah. Yeah, so we have like 20 episodes, but we haven't
wow.
launched yet.
You
So.
have 20 episodes?
Yeah, so we'll be launch. I don't know where.
That
I know
is
there's
so
a
many
YouTube
episodes.
page.
Oh, okay. YouTube. And what was the name again? Just to get it out there.
Is this anything? So I'm not sure exactly. I think the YouTube is, YouTube/ITA pod. I think that might be what it is.
Okay.
And I don't know how I think the podcast will be on Spotify and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. The way the podcasts work, you just search Is This Anything on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you're basically listening to this, unless you're watching this on YouTube right now, which most of you are not. Most of you are listening. So
we wish you would.
Yeah,
we really
it'd be
wish
nice, guys. But, I get it. People already subscribe. We did like 80 episodes of just audio, so that's where they listen. It is.
I got a message this week of I enjoy every episode from an old friend of mine.
Oh, that's great.
Nice.
Yeah, I was like, oh, thanks. Don't tell anybody about it.
Yeah, I like it, right? Yeah, keep it a secret.
We don't want to work that out.
Keep it. All our fans are fucking weird losers without followers. That's the problem. I'm calling you out.
Guys,
you don't have any followers.
Be sure to message me privately so that nobody hears. It's like it was like in high school when someone was like, "Hey, listen, I do like you as a friend. I just don't want anyone else. I don't want the hot chicks to know that I like hanging out with you."
Right. Yeah.
They do one of these. They're like, they look around. Like,
yeah. Listen, I think you're cool. I just don't want anyone else to know.
Yeah. They're I mean, we're joking. They're great, but it would be nice if we had like one super famous fan, because that would really get it out there.
Yeah. I just did. I mean, I could talk about, even though it's in the past once this episode comes out, but I just did Godfrey We Trust.
Yes.
Godfrey's podcast with Andre Kim, and that's just that did 10,000 views on YouTube in the first day.
And way more listeners. They have a big listenership.
Yeah, and it was awesome because I used to manage a bunch of restaurants in New York, including Tao, which is like famous, and so I told some stories about Tao on the podcast, and so people that I used to work with were sort of like reaching out to me, like laughing about these stories, and I was like, it was great, but it was also like, like they're at Gas Digital, nice studio, they have engineers working on the show, like it's
the dream.
We've done a few shows there, me and Peter, but yeah, it's few and far between. I wish there were like a lot, like more often, obviously.
Yeah,
but.
it was just a great experience.
No, yeah, hell yeah, dude.
I never said what I should plug my actual social media, I guess.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So everything is at Anthony Kapfer, Kapfer. And then my website is anthonykapfer.com. So
perfect. And Anthony's a great follow on social media. I mean, really, you put out a lot of stuff. I've seen it. It's most comedians put out like themselves talking, and you do a little bit more than that, So I'm trying.
I'm working on some stuff, sketches and cartoons and stuff like that. I actually have 2 comedy specials that one is a half hour and one is an hour.
Wow.
So
I didn't know that.
Well, I didn't release them yet. I have.
Okay.
I do have one. I have an animated special that I put out a couple years ago. A 30-minute animated special. But I have these 2 now. I want to. When I put them out, I feel like I got to do it the right way, because I don't know when it will be possible to cram people into a small room to film one again. So, but yeah, I have these 2 specials that at some point I'll put out. So.
Nice, man.
Yeah, give Anthony a follow so you could stay up to date on all that stuff. And Peter, so you got just check out the podcast, In Godfrey We Trust. You find it on YouTube. It's like the latest episode.
Yeah, it's episode. It dropped midnight.
You'll see it
yesterday, which is
April that new.
5th. Yeah,
very
it literally
new. Yeah.
came out. It came out the 16th, which will be
that's awesome.
A couple of days ago when this episode finally airs. But no, it was great, and it was 6 people on mic. So I was like, this is not going to go well.
No, it did though.
But I got I got a couple. If I've learned anything from over talking for an hour on each of these episodes, is to say less when you're on someone else's podcast.
Yes.
And just get the nuggets out there, like get them, get your laughs and get out.
Smart.
Yeah, that's what I do on mine.
On your own.
I let everybody riff and say all the, and I chime in with some every now and then. I'll have like this nugget, and then everybody loses their minds.
It's great. Everyone fucking goes crazy. Yeah.
That's what comedy is. We've been fucking this up the whole time.
I like to hang back a little bit, and then when I come in, it's like Arnold. When I come in, it's like It's something you're going to
Shit's
remember.
getting fucked up.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna die. But all right, man. Thanks a lot for coming on, man. We
thanks for
appreciate it.
having me.
And
Yeah.
we'll do this again.
We finally did the Terminator, guys. You could stop
Yeah.
asking us to do it. I don't know. A lot of people.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Bye, everyone.